What if I told you that the most successful people in the world aren't the smartest or the most talented, but they all share one surprising trait? And what if this same trait could either make you incredibly successful or leave you at the bottom of the ladder? Today we're diving into Adam Grant's groundbreaking book, Give and Take, a book that will completely change how you think about success. When we usually think about success, we imagine qualities like talent, hard work, intelligence, or even luck. And while those matter, Adam Grant's research reveals something surprising. The biggest factor in long-term success is how we interact with people. Do we constantly take from others? Do we always give without expecting anything back? Or do we try to balance the two? That's where the three categories of people come in: takers, givers, and matchers. 1. Takers. These people are always asking, what can I get out of this? They're focused on their own benefit. They may look generous on the surface, but deep down, they're calculating how every move serves them. Think of the coworker who only shows up when they need help, but disappears when others need support. 2. Givers. On the opposite end, givers are people who naturally share knowledge, time, and support, without keeping score. They'll help a colleague prepare for a big meeting, introduce someone to a useful contact, or mentor a newcomer, not because they expect repayment, but because they genuinely want others to succeed. 3. Matchers. Most of us fall into this category. Matchers believe in fairness. If I do something for you, you should do something for me. They operate on balance, giving only when they know they'll receive something in return. Now here's the counterintuitive insight. In almost every study Grant examined, givers often show up at the bottom of success ladders.
Why?
Because some givers give too much, saying yes to everything, letting people exploit them, burning out, and sacrificing their own growth. But here's the twist. Givers are also the ones at the very top. Strategic givers, who set boundaries and give wisely, end up building the strongest networks, earning the deepest trust, and creating the biggest long-term impact. So the real question isn't, should you be a giver or taker? It's, what kind of giver will you be? Adam Grant discovered something fascinating he calls the giver's paradox. On one hand, givers are some of the least successful people in workplaces.
Why?
Because selfless givers, those who say yes to everyone, all the time, end up exhausted, overwhelmed, and even exploited by takers who only take advantage. They burn out, and instead of moving up, they often fall behind. But here's the paradox. Givers are also the most successful people. The difference lies in how they give. The most successful givers are what Adam Grant calls Otherish. That means they genuinely care about helping others, but they also protect their own time, energy, and goals. They're strategic. Instead of giving to everyone all the time, they choose when, how, and to whom they give. For instance, I once kept saying yes to extra tasks for colleagues, thinking I was being helpful. But over time, I realized my own work was slipping, and I was constantly stressed. When I started setting boundaries, helping when it truly mattered, but saying no when my plate was full, not only did I perform better, but people respected my time even more. So the lesson is this: giving is powerful, but only when it's balanced with boundaries. Selfless giving drains you. Strategic giving multiplies your success. Lesson number 2 is about the power of networks. Most of us think building a network means constantly meeting new people and exchanging business cards. But Adam Grant shows that the strongest networks don't come from quantity, they come from quality. Here's the surprising part. Givers build the most powerful networks, not because they know the most people, but because they're remembered as helpful. When you give your time, knowledge, or support without keeping score, people trust you and actually want to return the favor. One of Grant's best insights is about what he calls dormant ties. These are people you've known in the past, old colleagues, classmates, even neighbors, that you may have lost touch with. Reconnecting with them is often more valuable than meeting strangers, because there's already a base of trust. And when you've been helpful before, they're more likely to open doors for you again. Another simple but powerful idea is the 5-minute favor. Spend just 5 minutes doing something useful for someone, like making an introduction, sharing advice, or forwarding a resource, without expecting anything in return. These small acts compound, and over time, they create a reputation that draws opportunities back to you. So the tip here is simple. Instead of always chasing new contacts, reconnect with people you already know, and commit to one 5-minute favor every day. It's a small effort that can transform your network. Lesson number 3 is about spotting takers. On the surface, takers can look incredibly successful. They're often charming upward, always flattering bosses, networking with people in power, and showing off their achievements. But if you look closer, there's a dangerous pattern. They tend to be dismissive downward. In other words, they treat subordinates, assistants, or service workers with little respect. Adam Grant calls this the kissing up, kicking down behavior. It's one of the clearest signs of a taker. If someone is sweet to their manager but rude to the receptionist, you've spotted a red flag. Takers also tend to use powerful, self-promoting language. They jump to claim credit quickly, even when a team effort is involved. Over time, this erodes trust. So how do you protect yourself? First, set clear boundaries. Don't overcommit your time and energy to someone who only takes without giving back. Second, use what Grant calls generous tit-for-tat. Start by giving, but if the person doesn't reciprocate, pull back. This way, you stay generous, but you don't allow yourself to be exploited. The key is to remember, not everyone who looks helpful or charismatic has your best interests at heart. Learn to spot the takers early, and you'll protect both your energy and your reputation. Lesson number 4 is about what truly motivates givers. For takers, the biggest motivator is often money, status, or personal gain. But for givers, the fuel runs deeper. They find energy and fulfillment in knowing their work makes a real difference in other people's lives. Adam Grant calls this creating impact visibility. When people can actually see how their efforts help others, their motivation and performance skyrocket. Take an office example. Imagine a staff member working late to prepare a project report. At first, it feels like just another task. But when they later hear that the report helped the manager win new business for the company, or made a customer's life easier, suddenly all that effort feels worthwhile. Or at home, think of a housewife preparing meals every single day. It might feel routine. But when she sees her family healthy, energetic, and succeeding in school or work because of that care, she realizes her invisible work has visible results. That impact is the motivation that keeps her going. So here's the lesson. If you want to stay motivated, don't just count the money or the hours worked. Look for the faces and stories of the people you've helped. That's the fuel that keeps givers not only productive, but inspired. Let's look at a powerful framework from Adam Grant, the motivation quadrants. Motivation comes from two main drivers, self-interest and other interest. When we combine them, we get 4 quadrants. 1. Low self-interest, low other interest. This is the apathetic zone. People here lack drive for themselves or others. 2. High self-interest, low other interest. This is the taker zone. Success here comes at others' expense. 3. Low self-interest, high other interest. This is the selfless giver zone. Noble, but risky. These people often burn out. 4. High self-interest, high other interest. This is the Otherish zone. The sweet spot. People here help others while also advancing their own goals. Grant's research shows that long-term success comes from this 4th quadrant, the Otherish mindset. You give, but with boundaries. You care about others, but also protect your own energy and ambition. So, as you apply these steps, ask yourself, which quadrant am I operating from today? The goal is to stay firmly in that 4th quadrant. Lesson number 5 is about building a giving culture. It's not enough for individuals to practice generosity. Organizations, families, and teams need to create environments where giving can thrive. Adam Grant's research shows that even one taker can poison an entire team. That's why the first step is, hire givers, and if necessary, let go of consistent takers. The culture is shaped most by the people inside it. But it's not just about removing negativity, it's about encouraging help-seeking. Many people hesitate to ask for help because they fear looking weak. In a true giving culture, asking for help is seen as a strength, because it creates opportunities for others to contribute. Leaders also need to recognize and reward giving behavior. When people see that collaboration, mentorship, and support are valued as much as results, they're more likely to keep helping. So how do we make this real in the workplace? A focus on team projects over individual rankings. This shifts the mindset from competing with coworkers to achieving together. Use peer recognition programs so employees can celebrate each other's contributions, not just wait for the boss's approval. And create more mentorship opportunities, where experienced people can guide newcomers and build a cycle of giving. The big idea is this: when giving becomes the norm, not the exception, every individual and the entire team rises together. Practical implementation. Now let's bring it all together with some practical steps you can take immediately to apply give and take in your own life. Here are 5 actions you can start today. 1. The 5-minute favor test. Before the day ends, help someone in a small way, with no expectation of return. 2. Network audit. This week, reach out to 3 old contacts you haven't spoken to in a while. 3. Taker detection. Watch how people treat service workers or assistants. That's where their true character shows. 4. Boundary setting. Say no to one request that would overextend you, and notice how much energy you save. 5. Impact seeking. Ask to see the results of your work. Seeing the difference you make fuels your motivation. If you start small and stay consistent, you'll not only transform your relationships, but also put yourself on the path to long-term success. If this video helped you understand the power of strategic giving, smash that like button and subscribe for more life-changing book summaries. Thanks for watching. This is Guide to Wealth, where powerful ideas meet practical action.